You welcome in. Movie recap. Today we will tell you A Jade's First Movie Story 2008. The film started in the 1930s in Foshan, a prosperous area known as the Center. Some martial arts saw kung fu masters direct their students to, on the other hand, they practice martial arts. But Monset approaches him at dinner. A table tells him that there is kung fu. It turns out a master who wants to meet him. It was Mr. Liu, who had just opened Kung Fu Academy in Foshan, and his desires to train with Ip Man because Ip Man is a well-known Wing Chun master. Ip Man politely declines the invitation, but Liu insists and tells Ip Man to argue secretly. Even if Ip Man did not lose anyone, he will know after his approval. But he says he wants to finish his lunch with his wife. Jinna sings first and asks Leo to join in. Them on the table, Precious' wife stared at Liu sarcastically. He even has voracious manners. Continue with snacks after the meal, while Ip Man smokes a cigarette after him. The meal shortly after the start of the fast. Liu is thrown away after Ip Man is injured him several times at the same time. The teenager is trying to reach out. Kite stuck in the yard saw the man. Occurrence then Ip Man throws some. Liu punches him until he confesses to him. Defeat soon after Liu master's request. Defeat and Ip Man agrees and goes to Yao. Home later that day at Yuan restaurant. Teenager before telling his friends that he saw him defeat Yao with Master Ip. Shortly after, Ip Man arrives at the same time. A restaurant about to get its business done. Partner on the other hand Liu. He supervises the reception of his students. Defeat to master and accelerate Ip news. The restaurant you are looking for. Arriving there, Yao immediately scolds on you, but then Senior Lin Yuan comes. Brother and owner of the restaurant. Dismiss them and refuse to blame them. Hurry up and climb to Ip Man Ho. He asks Master Ip for Lin to defend him next. He pulls you back and tells him not to humiliate anyone, in the General Yuan still crazy, but then Lin pulls it off right away. Yan hangs down so that everyone. He laughs at him and goes away, blushing. Later, a policeman named Li Zhao comes. He asks Kung Fu hooligans not to create a file. Foss says how outdated Kung Fu is. He shows his gun while pointing at her. Ip Man but immediately blocks Ip Man. Fire the gun and pay the gun. From the cylinder, Li Zhao was left speechless. He admits that Kung Fu is loud sometimes, but that doesn't mean they are uncivilized. Then Ip Man decides to treat Li Zhao, and the crowd spread out into the house. After you lend Mom the capital to Chu, business partner to open cotton factory, and welcome to Ip Man. The accompanying chewing comes on suddenly. Lin, who wants to show the new master Ip Man technology at the same time Man's wife Ip accompany their son. In the middle of their practice, his son approaches Ip Man, but he ignores him. His wife stared at him as they watched. Asked the neighbors outside Ip Man to replicate his technologies. He heard that his wife was angry. Scatter them away, and then ask Ip Man to save more time with their son. Once upon a time there was a group of wanderers, led by Jinshan Zhao, who came to Foshan Kung Fu Masters Challenge. There he challenges the Kung Fu Masters, and he wins easily. Good. He feels proud of him and his men. Celebrated out of the blue at a food stall. The kiosk owner told him not to brag yet, before he could defeat Ip Man. Upon hearing that, then he rushes off to find the Ip guy coming. At his home, she immediately challenges Jane, the guy Ip, to fight, but he refuses to. The wife also settles in the Wanderers group. Jin then becomes depressed because of the Ip Man's condition. He is afraid of his wife, and then Jane tells him, the wife who will not kill him, until he told her he wouldn't use it. His hand feels offended and agrees. Challenge shortly after the policeman arrives. He asks Ip Man to take Foshan back. A battle of dignity and fierceness took place. Blow after blow delivered by the Ip Man makes Jane smashed and then did not drop anyone. Jin's men handed him a sword and an Ip Man. You fight it off with a feather duster. Then the fight ended with the fall of the sword. Jin's hand and Ip's man kill him. Jin but then slap Jin and his men. Leave through Foshan mockery. Foshan people since then very people. Gentleman Ip who has at times free merchandise on the market. Thank you. Form, but the beautiful story must come to an end. By 1937, when Japan colonized China, many people are starving. And it got worse when I got to Japan. Foshan 1938 Japanese troops. Many buildings were destroyed. The facilities have also been taken over. So far Moon's house finished and became Ip administrator at HQ. He lives in misery even with his wife still beside him. Foreign. He goes to the market to trade it. Valuables for some rice was there. He invited over by Chuan to his factory. She is still allowed to work and show his position, considering that Ip Man. It was he who lent him the capital to the factory, but he rejects him, saying he does not want to owe him. One day IP Man cooked some porridge. She was always worried about his sick wife, about their food supply, so he calmed down by telling her he will get it. Later, almost everything was rejected. It's time to finally join the co-worker foreign restaurant owner at rest. The man keeps some of his food in his pocket. Lin sees this next. He offers Mr. IP some of his food there. Lin said they have some chat. IP Master Lin that his brother is no longer. After he pulled his pants back on, he said in the past that he wanted to. He apologized to his brother when he was Lin. I am looking for a Japanese tin container. The army came up with Li Zhao in their capacity. He heard General Fox interpreter. Citizens are good at kung fu. He invited them to a tournament against their Karate. If they win, they are going to be rewarded with rice. They all feel good, excited, including Lin, but not IP Man. Shortly after their arrival in the arena, where Liu won some rice from a fight by watching his skill make Miura, a general, won a battle in the arena as well. He wants to face 3 costumes for a price time and rewards them with rice. They either win or lose, and then in the end, the square descended, and its face was 3 fashions with Lin Fei, Miura Kan. 3 people were killed in one hit. He made them give up, but not Lin, who he stands up and hits Miura back. However, Majora manages to attack Lin and throws. He returns until he coughs up blood. Foreign. The next day, while working, he found IP Man into a pot and keeps it in his own pocket. At the break again, Li Zhao came. Fashion workers pray for another tournament. Their IP Man approaching me. Zhao asks about Lin but is ignored. It forces IP Man to come to him, hoping to be able to find land in it. The square after Mon Liu sees the winner. Miura asks about another 1v3 battle, and Miura gave it to him, but he lost the fight and surrendered. He left the square but was suddenly shot by Colonel Sato. In the header of the page says, the loser should not take his wages. He went mad about it happening, and so was Miura, to his faith, where he told him so. Only heroism and never should. You don't have a championship anymore. The IP Man's cries continued at Li Zhao's. He tells him he wants to fight. Joey asks if Flynn was hit death too, but Li Zhao remained silent and open IP Man gateway. Then he asks to confront 10 people at once, but Li Zhao did it, but he insists. Although the stunned mayor still granted his request, was submitted shortly after the fighting began. The IP guy beats them 1 by 1 mercilessly. I left Miura game. After defeating everyone, Miura asks to return with his reward of rice, but he rejects her and takes Liu bloody rice bag instead and gives it to the Liu family. Is there to warn Li Zhao, be careful guys, IP with the Japanese army, but then slapped Li Zhao. Being a traitor, Li Zhao was offended. He said he was just a translator and the death of their people has nothing to do with it. With him IP Man, and then left him. Upon arriving home, his wife treats his wounds. He is glad that he is still his wife. There for him later that day. Halfway through, we see Jane blocking AJ soldier's truck and hijacked it. Then they went to the cotton factory to blackmail them, but since then they have nothing. Offers Jin and then hits you. Seeing the crash, chewed on the sun. After that, came to Master IP for help, but unfortunately it's too late. Wanderer has already gone and told us, come back later, and nobody seems to be. The Wanderer is Yuan's brother. The late Lin arrives at the factory next. He sees the wounded man chewing on the work. Afterwards, he asks Chu and IP Man to teach him Wing Chun. All factory workers followed him. The IP guy smiles and approves it and then teach them Wing Chun. Later, IP Man, who was playing with his son, he surprised me. Zhao's appearance tells the IP guy that Miura wants to be in a fight against him. Then suddenly Sato appeared too. Amazed by the beauty of the man's wife IP, he approaches her and wants to take her. The IP Man then spontaneously attacks Sato, and his men pass out. Then Li Zhao asked the intellectual property man and his family to isolate themselves. Shortly after Li Zhao, Sato was severely beaten by Lai Lan. Zhao let them run away as Miura says he will post everything he has. Soldiers to find a man. IP then went to Mi Zhao. The house was hit and met the IP guy where he was. Li Zhao thanked for hiding his family. Later, Jin and his men come to the cotton little plant they know. The workers were already ready for them access. The mass battle took place and came mid-fighting IP Man and helped them fight the Wanderer. The Wanderer launched their second blow with some axes in hand, but IP Man, he manages to overpower them, and then Jane intervenes. With a garden fork he found the Yuan. For his part, they are trying to fight IP Man, but IP Man beats fantastically them with bamboo. Even Jin and Hu, the men go IP Man and then chase you. His brothers gave him a tin pot and he tells him about his late brother. I was shocked and cried at the news. At night, Li Zhao hurriedly approaches IP Man and tells him not to be anywhere Near Lan Mira Cotton Factory, there was currently in the factory scene. Sato tortures Chuan to find the IP Man. Then IP Man suddenly appeared to transform himself at Sato, and then beat him up. He knelt when Sato was about to shoot. IP Mira guy stopped him and asked IP Man to teach Kung Fu Japanese Army Fu. Gracious refuses and challenges Mira's fight. Instead, Mira asks his men to arrest Valued on his way, screaming. He chews on telling him to take his family away from Fashion. Later, General Mira visits and delivers a meal for an IP Man himself asked for Mira to display their fight to the public. Everyone can witness how Japan karate supremacy in Chinese Kung Fu. Yetman doesn't just say anything. He pushes his meal away from him the next day. Today, IP Man's wife was seen crying at a car with a Chu to drive away from. Fashion regretted not having regrets. Support orphan in his martial art. Finally, the battle took place. They blow their technology hard at each other. Foreign, it seems Wu Chuan's family is valued. He went back to the arena to watch IP Man fight. Finally, IP Man manages to Mira beat his corners and hits. To his defeat fell General Mira. Precious defeat by the people of Fashion. Cheer him with the joy of his victory. But suddenly a hit shot was drawn. The guy IP in Sato's chest shoots him. He kicks him out of the ring immediately afterwards. People flock to the arena, while Sligo tries to grab Sato's gun. He managed to shoot Sato in the neck. His wife and the people surrounding the man. IP Foreign, with the help of his friend he choose. An injured IP Man managed to escape from Fashion. And the movie ends. See you in the next video.